Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Connor Rose, and this is the Nerdic Gods Podcast, episode 223. Joining me as always, Daniel.
I sounded exhausted. What's up, gamers? It wasn't picking up.
It's picking up on my end. It's picking up on
Now it
my
is.
end. I can see it.
There was a while it wasn't picking up. I thought you stopped talking. What's up, gamers? Going on?
Hey, Daniel. How you doing?
I'm okay. I'm all right. My last few days before I go back to work.
Oof. Been off a little
Yeah.
while?
Yeah.
That's
It'll
nice.
be about 2 weeks.
Oh, that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Little vacation.
Yeah.
Get away from it all.
Mm-hmm. Especially the video game industry, you know what I mean?
You know, video game industry would be so much more fun if we just didn't pay attention to anything other than playing
if we
video
just
games.
talked about the games.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, great.
Have a lot more fun.
You have no idea what's going on if you just play games. You're having a great time, honestly, if you just play games.
It sucks to be
also,
us.
if you just like, yeah, this pressure we put on ourselves.
Yeah.
You can honestly just like, just play whatever the fuck you want. You don't even gotta like pay attention to new releases, and then just don't pay attention to the industry at all, and you're having a great time. Having a great.
I feel like
time.
that's about every industry too, though.
Yeah.
The more you look into it, the more it's just
The darker
really?
it gets. Darker it gets. I hear you.
Yeah. Well, I guess it wasn't as bad of a week. I don't think this week.
No, not too. I mean, it's kind of more of an interesting week than it is a bad week necessarily. We're still gonna be swimming in shit for a little while with bad news stories. I think probably rest. Of this year.
Probably the rest of the year for sure.
Yeah, a little bit in next year, but we'll get past that when we get past that. Daniel, you ever seen the Air Bud movie?
I've seen the first one. Of course, that's a classic back when it came out. And then I might have seen the football one.
A talented fucking dog, man.
That
if you think about it, like, man, this is a multi-sport.
Let's talk about Bo
Jackson,
here. You know what I mean?
Right. Like, let's talk about Air Bud here. You know,
ain't nobody talking about Bo Jackson.
This fucking dog out here.
What's his name? What's the prime time? What's his name?
Prime time. I don't know who you're talking about now.
He was a safety and a wide receiver.
Okay.
Now he's the coach of Colorado, the football team. What's his name? He's a very famous like athlete. What's his name?
Never heard of him.
Oh, prime time. It'll come to me. Oh man, it's gonna eat me inside. I can't remember.
Regardless, he's nothing compared to Air Bud.
Yeah, he played safety and wide receiver.
Air Bud's
football, and it's like
Air Bud's played basketball. He's played football. He's played soccer.
He's had multi-talented kids.
Yeah, he's probably played cricket or some shit. At some
what's that new one?
point. Pickleball. Yeah, that's what he does. Air hockey.
Air hockey.
They make a whole movie around Air Bud playing air hockey. I can see it. Bowling, maybe. I don't know if they keep going with those. I don't know what was up with dog movies back then.
Yeah, remember Homeward Bound?
No, I don't remember that one.
It's the three animals that were like talking to, but then they were out in the wilderness and they were trying to get back home.
Oh, is it like
you don't remember that?
No,
it's old.
I don't remember that at all.
I mean, it's in that era. It's probably a little older than Babe, probably. I remember Babe too. I don't remember the second one very much. But,
Babe, Pig in the City.
Pig in the City, yeah.
Pig
I don't remember.
City.
I think I've seen
by,
it. I don't
George Miller. Way to go,
George. What a wild connection.
Love that,
George Miller.
Love that, man. I just watched Fury Road yesterday. I'm like, oh, fucking love that movie.
You getting ready for Fury?
I sure am.
What's her name again?
Furiosa. I'm very excited. I'm very excited for that movie. As one of the few I will go out for the theaters for. Nowadays.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's got a lot of good reviews.
Will get me. Yeah, I especially feel like you have to see this in the theater. It's one of those where it's like
I didn't see
part
Fury
of the
Road
experience.
though.
Oh, really? I did.
Yeah,
I did,
I love that movie.
I fucking love that movie so much. I'm gonna watch the black and white version next week, leading into Furiosa. So I'm very excited. Well, I've been doing not a rewatch because I never saw most of the old Mad Max movies, but
yeah, the original 3.
Yeah, I saw Thunderdome forever ago, but yeah,
that's the worst one.
Yeah, out of the original 3,
it's
definitely
fun.
Was the worst one. Oh yeah, it's a fun little. I don't know what time period or when that movie came out exactly. I'm assuming it was an 80s movie because it felt very 80s, but yeah, it was fun. The first one, very weird, very very odd movie. It's good, but it was just
How about
like
the second one?
Yeah. The second one is
Road
clearly
Warrior. Road Warrior's so good.
above the other three, but yeah, the first one was just like I turned that off and I was like, what a strange
Half
fucking
the movie
film.
isn't even like it's
Yeah,
just
and I was just like, what? That's how Mad Max starts, really?
yeah.
And then you get into Road Warrior. Road Warrior is just the
Road
shit.
Warrior is really good. Yeah, it's I'm very excited for that movie. I would like to see it in theaters, but um I'll see if I can get a chance to. I'm very excited just for the cast.
Yeah,
I like Anya
Chris
Taylor-Joy is
Hemsworth,
so good. Seeing
Taylor-Joy, yeah.
her as the lead, and then Chris Hemsworth as the villain.
As a
That sounds
villain, yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it does sound fucking awesome. It's getting great reviews too, so I'm like, all right, cool, awesome. Seems like they knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, I don't know anybody else in the movie though. I just know those two.
Yeah, I don't know if there is like another big name in the movie, but I don't know. I wonder if Tom Hardy makes like a cameo or some shit. I guess that'd be kind of
Yeah,
weird. I
Fury
don't think.
Road had a ton of people.
Yeah.
Had a big cast. Like even if they played minor roles, like it was a good cast to that one.
Daniel, it's been another busy week in the world of video games.
Yeah, it has.
Actually,
We had a
was
big
quite busy.
story.
Surprisingly
Yeah,
busy. What did you make? Okay, you made that thumbnail. Interesting. All right, we will start there then.
I think that's the biggest story.
Okay, cool. I'm down with it. First up then, we got the name in the first CGI trailer for the next Assassin's Creed game. The game will be called Assassin's Creed Shadows, and it will feature two main protagonists set in feudal Japan in the 16th century. The game launches on November 15th, 2024, and we will probably see gameplay at the Ubisoft Direct later next month. Daniel, here it is. Finally got the name. Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Yeah, I'm still iffy on the name.
You don't like the name, really?
But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's a bad name, but I'm not like sold on the name.
I'm into it.
Yeah, you like that name?
Yeah,
Okay.
why not?
It's not bad. It's not bad at all. I think it's better than Origins. I don't think that's a very good name. People put
Origins was
Origins in.
good for what it was because they were like soft rebooting the franchise, and it was kind
Yeah,
of a good
new
way to pick up
direction.
on that. Yeah, smart little way to pick up on that. But
I like Odyssey's, I think, a good name. Valhalla's a good name, but it's an overused word as well. Like I think Odyssey, I guess, is an overused word too.
not too many bad names in the Assassin's Creed series, honestly. Brotherhood pretty good. Revelation's pretty good.
Black Flag's okay.
Black Flag's kind of cool. Yeah. Not too
Yeah.
many like really awful ones though, surprisingly.
Yeah. You got like a more generic like Rogue.
Yeah. Yeah, Rogue's kind of not the best.
It's not bad, but it's just like, okay, Rogue, cool. You
Yeah.
already know what that character is after you say that. So,
Yeah.
I guess that's true with Shadows, right? But yeah, it seems like they're doing some sort of like taking Ghost of Tsushima and like splitting that in half and making that two characters. It's kind of the vibe I get, right? Like it seems like I think his name was Yasuka. Is that his name?
The samurai.
Yeah, the samurai, which I guess is the first. He's the first black samurai. So Yasuka is probably going to be more action. You're going to not really stealth a lot, probably. Probably
That's
more.
what they said. It is. They said that one's kind of harkening back to the RPG ones. Yeah, and he will play more heavily than the girl protagonist. I don't know her name.
Yeah,
and then she will be more focused on like stealth and stuff like that.
Okay. Have they said like, is it free choice or like...
That I do not know. That I do not know.
Okay.
It sounds more like it's like you will go back and forth at certain times throughout the story. That's how did Syndicate work?
That's what I was just gonna say. It sounds like Syndicate.
So Syndicate
in the open
world,
both? In the open world, you can choose.
Okay.
You can just go into the menu and you could switch. But there are missions where you're playing as Jacob or you're playing as Evie. Okay. So I'm guessing it's the same way, especially if they put a lot of time into both. Like, I think a lot more people are probably interested in like the stealth version of this, so I would assume a lot of people might want to play her. But then if you look at a lot of like Assassin's Creed history, and like when they choose to do two protagonists, one's male, one's female, most people seem to pick the male, even if like the male's the worst option, like Odyssey. Like if you go listen to both those voice actors, like the male version, not to shame that guy, but Alexio's as voice actor is just worse than Cassandra's. So it's just, I guess it's the standard. You play some dude, right? So hopefully a little more even. It seems like I mean I'm more excited for the stealth stuff personally. I want a stealthy Assassin's Creed again.
Me too.
slinking in the shadows.
Yeah, yeah, I'm kind of right there with you. Yeah, it's cool. It was a great CGI trailer. Like I gotta give it to him on
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking awesome. Again, like I go back to this. It's just like I want to be excited. I really do. Like I want to be all in on this, but I just don't know yet. We got to see gameplay and all that stuff.
Yeah,
It's the concept sounds so cool. You know, feudal Japan. That sounds awesome. But yeah, we just really got to see gameplay
we
here
need to see
before
the
I know if
gameplay.
I'm completely in. I gotta know like how big the game is. I heard the map's like somewhat origin size, which is supposedly a little bit smaller than Odyssey and Valhalla was. So it's like
Sounds good.
okay, it's okay. Like at least it's a little bit smaller there. I'm still not like super into the idea of a giant RPG Assassin's Creed game, but we'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
I
If
mean,
you
like
can,
Ghost.
yeah, if you can make that content good and like worth me playing through all that type of shit, right? Then I'm into it. But it's just I don't know. Every time I booted up one of the three newer Assassin's Creed games, it just kind of felt like the side content. It felt like side content, right? Where I just really didn't want to do it. I just kind of want to focus more on the main story, which itself wasn't very good to me. So I
Mm.
don't know. I don't know. I just hope Ubisoft's coming with their A game here. I feel like they are. This feels like their big fall game here, and like of course this is what the main Assassin's Creed team has been working on. It's what the
Yeah, they
Odyssey
haven't
team
done
has been
one
working on,
since
right? So
almost 4 years.
yeah, so it's been quite a while now, and I think that's good too. But then again, I say that, but Assassin's Creed Mirage came out last year, right? So it's like
I still want to check that out. I haven't,
yeah,
but
yeah, it's like you know, you kind of took a break, but not really. I know Mirage is a smaller game, but still, you know, it just feels a little weird having one last year and then another one already again this year. But whatever, man. It's yeah, we're here. We're getting the Japan Assassin's Creed game finally. So
we've been asking for that for so
yeah,
long.
I mean everyone's been saying that since forever. Since we knew this is the direction Assassin's Creed was going, is we're just gonna pick different times throughout history to play as an assassin in, right? Everyone's been asking for the Japan one. So we're finally getting it now. And it's very cool to see. And yeah, I hope they knock it out of that park, but really just gotta see gameplay before I can really say I'm in.
When did you say that forward was? Is that
Ubisoft
next month?
Forward, it
Is
is
it
next month, sometime in June. I don't
okay?
know the exact date, but
They haven't
sometime
put
in
a
June.
date on it yet.
I think they
Okay.
have. I just don't know it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for that Ubisoft Forward because I'm assuming we're gonna get another reveal of a Far Cry game.
Do you think we'll get it right now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
because I think
because
I'm
there
gonna
is a
guess that there's a Far Cry next year.
yeah, yeah. Far
It's
Cry.
been a while.
Although I guess 6 came out, or no, 5 came out. What was the last one? 5 or 6?
6.
6. 6
That's
came out in the
2021, right?
fall. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I know traditionally I guess I'm wrong. I don't know. Far Cry has kind of come out in all different periods. I'm just trying to pin down when a Far Cry 7 would come out exactly. Like I could
Yeah.
see that being early 2025, right? Like
Yeah.
March-ish 2025. I know
I'm
that's when
thinking
like 5
fall,
came out.
but definitely want to reveal is what I'm thinking. Like at least like a teaser.
Yeah, I
Like
don't
tease
know
the
if they'd
7.
go as far as they reveal it now then if it is all the way in fall 2025, you know? I just
Hmm.
don't know. Maybe a short little something. We already know it exists, right? So you guys might as well go ahead and reveal it. Like that wouldn't be
That's what
that
I'm
big a deal
thinking.
at
Yeah.
that point. Yeah. Yeah, maybe we do get that, and I mean we do know like the concept of that one being the whole 3-day period or whatever to save your family, and that sounds cool too. Man, Ubisoft's setting up for quite a big year here, right? They got Star Wars Outlaws at the end of
Hmm.
August, and then Assassin's Creed Shadows
Just those
in
two. Huge.
November, right? Those are huge games for
Probably
them.
gonna be in the top 10.
Yeah, if they
Film
could
of the
somehow
year.
squeeze Far Cry 7 into like March-ish and get it out before the end of the fiscal year next year, right? That'd be huge for Ubisoft.
They'd probably really like that.
Yeah, they probably would. Those are 3 like gigantic selling games, you know? Like I can imagine.
Especially, you got to be out before next fall.
Yeah. Yeah, they're very true,
You
right?
got to be out
Very
before next
true.
fall.
You do not want to be competing with that next fall.
Mm-mm.
Although it's funny, man, the more we talk about 2025 and the more the games that seem to be coming out in 2025, seems
Be a
like
good year too.
2025 is going to be a fucking another 2023 type of year in video
Could be.
games. Maybe even better, right? The Switch 2, and we got rumors of, you know, Persona 6, and the PlayStation might come out with something.
Gears. There's like a rumor
Gears,
of Gears.
the
Yeah.
rumor of a new Doom game. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, we might be getting a ton of stuff in 2025. So 2035 might literally just be one of those years on top of GTA 6 coming out. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, but yeah, Ubisoft in particular is setting up for big stuff.
Hmm. Yeah. They've been a little up and down in the past few recent years. So like it's nice to see them hopefully get 2 bangers back to back. I hope.
Yeah,
I'm hopefully gonna try to play both of these games
I think
if there's
no
like
matter
time.
what, like I don't know about Outlaws, I guess. I think Outlaws looks great, right? So hopefully they actually nail that one when it actually comes out. But I think no matter what, Assassin's Creed Red is gonna, or Shadows, gonna be hard to drop that Red name. But Shadow, they almost could have just went with that, you know. But Shadows, when that comes, I think no matter what, certain people are gonna like that, right? Like if you're a fan of the recent RPG Assassin's Creed games, I think you're gonna be really at home there and really enjoy Assassin's Creed Shadows. Or maybe they switch directions and they harken back to the older Assassin's Creed games that me and you like and we really like it. Either way, they're gonna probably make one of the fan bases happy, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully both.
Yeah, that's tough to do though.
Yeah.
It's already hard to please gamers. You know what I mean? Trying to please every gamer, I don't know.
Tough to please us. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there it is, November 15th. I like the date. A little bit further out in the fall than we typically get, you know?
This is usually kind of when they nail it, though, right? They're like right there with Call of Duty, I think, usually.
Okay. Always in that, like, mid-November?
They're always in
I
the,
can't
yeah,
remember
usually
the one, so.
it was always like sports games, Call of Duty, and Assassin's Creed when they were almost always annually. It was like, that's all the fall. You don't want to be in the way of that unless you're like GTA or like a big name like that. But most of the time, you do not want to go in the fall.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting worried about how packed this fall might be. You know, like we already got some stuff there. That Metaphor Refantasio games in early October.
I want to
play.
Got
this in mid-November. Avowed's supposed to come out sometime around there. Those are 3 gigantic games that I just named. You know, those are 3 games that could all take you a month right there, right? If you're depending on your playtime, then you got Call of Duty, Indiana Jones, shit like that. Maybe
Avowed.
Maybe PlayStation does something. Who knows? Maybe I mean, there's just a bunch of stuff. Indies popping up left and right. So getting worried about the fall a little bit here.
Yeah, I'm basically getting to the point when I'm kind of just, I don't know if giving up's the right way. As somebody that like tries to play a lot of like new releases and things like that, like I'm kind of just like, I'm just gonna play what I can play and not even new releases. Like if I just want to play something, I don't know. Like it's just almost too daunting to even like semi play things that I want, that I'm even curious about, you know? Like especially even when it comes to the indies, like we could talk about it a little later. Like I tried Animal Well. It's like it's a charming game but it's just not hooking me, and it's like I'd rather take my time just play something else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I mean the market is so overflooded with video games that it's just you got to really pick and choose here, like what.
And there's old stuff I've never played.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That are good games.
Like this Assassin's Creed game to me, no matter how interesting it looks, if there's another franchise coming out right around there, another game that I'm super interested in that comes out right around that, that's probably gonna, like Avowed comes out same day as this or whatever.
Avowed,
I'm picking Avowed, right? And I'll probably that probably means I will never play Assassin's Creed Shadows, you know, because other things will come out that I'm more interested in, and it will just get put on the backlog until I keep telling myself I have time. When I have time, I'll get back to Assassin's Creed Shadows. Then boom, it's 5 years later. Never happened, you know. So and that's just what happens, and it's unfortunate. So it's just, you know, it's just certain things to certain people. No matter how good it looks, you might just never have the time for it because there are so many games.
Yeah. Yeah, and then people talk about replaying games. I'm like, why would you ever want to replay a video game? You know what I mean?
You gotta get unless it's platinum, like, you know.
Unless it's like meant to be replayed, like like a game that is like score based or something like that, like, or like Tetris or whatever.
I agree with you, but like to me it's like comfort food when I go back and replay a game. Like I always want to go back and like replay BioShock because I just love that game and I just want to live in that world again, you know, something like that. Or Kingdom Hearts, I always go back and replay Kingdom Hearts game. Fallout, I always go back and replay Fallout games. They're just comfort food, you know. Sometimes I don't want to play a new thing, like you were just kind of saying right there. It's like I don't really necessarily want to play a new thing right at that moment. I kind of just want to go back and have something simple.
Yeah, what I meant even by new thing, I mean like I'll go play an old game I've never played. That's kind of what I mean. Is not necessarily being in like a new, always playing the newest of the new. It's like go back and play something I missed, or you know.
You don't ever feel though. I feel this quite a bit sometimes. Is like I'll boot up a new game and I'm just like, depending on what I just recently played. Like this kind of happened with me in Stellar Blade a little bit, where I was just like, I booted that up and it's like, here's another skill tree. Here's how the open world works. Here's all that, and I just got off of Rebirth and I'm just like, again, you know, like I gotta learn all these mechanics again. It's like similar to other games I've played before, and I'm just like, fuck this. Like, I'll just go back and play something I already know how to play, like Fallout, you know, because it's just like
Sure.
I don't need to relearn anything. I don't need to rewire my brain to make it work with this game at this time, right? It's just like I
That's
already
fair.
know what I'm doing in other things. Yeah, I don't know. It's just gamers are all different, right?
Hmm.
You know, and then you got people out there that like literally just play League of Legends all day, you
Yeah,
know,
that's very
and
yeah, or
they haven't played
Fortnite
another
or
game in
whatever.
fucking 7 years, but they put more
Yeah,
hours in than me and you do in a single week in video games, right?
that's those Call of Duty people too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like,
exactly. It's just yeah, gamers they come in all shapes and sizes,
very true. It's a good way to put it.
especially those fat ass PC gamers.
Oh my god, were you just picturing them like the South Park like World of Warcraft guy?
Man,
Is that
yeah.
no? Remember the guy that he's
Oh
like,
yeah,
hey, yeah,
the guy
the
they're
guy,
fighting.
yeah.
I love that episode.
That's a classic.
Give me another good South Park RPG.
Mhm. I
We
think
need.
we'll get one.
Hopefully. All right. Next up, then we got a lot to get through here, so let's get going. Bloomberg recently did an interview with Xbox President Sarah Bond. We can give you some of the major bulletin points of that interview. Daniel, this interview is has not been going well for Sarah Bond. She has sort of become a meme with the face she was making when she was asked about Tango GameWorks. Uh, yeah, so some of the major bulletin points. She said, industry is not growing, dev time and costs are rising, need to bring in new players. Why they shut down studios, industry isn't growing, businesses must be healthy, yada yada yada. This is all from Noble, by the way. So
Mhm.
you know, this is his major takeaways from it. Xbox will still be the place for games like Call of Duty and Pentiment. See about that. Why Tango got closed. She said or why Tango got closed, even with the success of Hi-Fi Rush. Her answer didn't make it clear necessarily. She kind of just
He
had
didn't really
a
say anything. Yeah.
said a whole lot of nothing when she was asked about that. She talked a little bit about the web mobile page, or the web store coming, the mobile page for
Hmm.
Xbox coming, which we can actually just pull up that news story as well and tie that in here.
Sure.
So yeah, also in that interview, Sarah Bond confirmed that the Xbox mobile store will launch in July and will offer first-party games like Candy Crush and Minecraft. I just love that. First party games like Candy Crush. It's just such
I
a
mean, it
wild thing.
is. It is
No, it
now.
really is, but it's just such a wild thing to read, you know.
The
Uh
Xbox first party game, Candy
Candy
Crush.
Crush, right? Yeah. Their highest grossing first party game.
Wild.
Yeah. She says that the next hardware experience is for core gamers and fans of the hardware. All games will still be coming to Game Pass. Asked about AI, players and devs will be the center, and they will introduce some stuff over the next year. So, get more into AI. We're hearing more and more about that as time goes on.
Yeah, same with what's his name? Patrick Wilson. Is that his name?
Was that the EA guy?
Andrew Wilson.
Andrew
Andrew
Wilson.
Wilson.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, Patrick Wilson's the actor. Andrew Wilson. Um, yeah, EA talking about AI and easing development.
Yeah. You know what the scary thing about AI is like I really could see a world where AI is able to do a lot of the work of developers at these studios.
Yeah,
Like as far as
yeah.
like making a world goes, you know, it's just
I
like
was thinking in the back end,
yeah.
coding and all that.
But can you see it just like, hey, AI, make you know, at some point, I don't know when, I don't know how far away we are from this, but it's just like, hey, AI, make a world like Skyrim's map, but not exactly like that, right? And it just does it, you know? It's like I could see that world happening pretty quickly.
Yeah, I hope not. Not in that way. I don't necessarily dislike the idea of AI assisting development to make things easier for the developers, make the games quicker. We talk about that too, right? Like make games quicker and hopefully cheaper. Maybe AI can help with that, but taking a lot of the human element, um, I don't want that. But that's why I mean, like maybe development in the back end with coding and yeah, that's going to lose jobs, but that's I think where going to go anyways.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think AI is gonna cut a lot of these jobs out in video game development at some point in the near future. But we'll get there when we get there, I guess. So yeah, mobile studio, big takeaway there. And then obviously the big thing going around is her not answering the Tango GameWorks question and the other studio closures from Bethesda last week. So anything else you gotta say on her interview, really?
I think that she was put in a tough position. Yeah, she probably should have had like a better thing to say.
What is
But
better though? Like I've seen that
I
go
know.
around, and it's just like, what do you guys really want her to
Yeah, it
say? You
sucks.
know? Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like
She didn't.
obviously we
She
would like her to like be honest and just
Yeah.
like actually say why, but
I think that's kind of what I said when we were talking about this last. Like, I think it happened right before after the show last week. I think that's kind of what I said with Love. Like, yeah, it kind of sucks what she said, but like, yeah, like I don't think that. I think why my words were like, I don't think that this is how she couldn't say what she actually feels.
right.
Like, I doubt that Sarah Bond was the one to say, "Oh yeah, let's get rid of Tango GameWorks."
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that Sarah is the one that said that, right? I like we said, I don't. We're not even fully sure if necessarily Phil was like the one. He probably made the call, but did Phil was he the one that like, yeah, let's get rid of these, or was it like Microsoft was like, yeah, you need to cut people back, so figure it out, and then Phil was like, great, now we have to figure it out.
Right.
So going all the way down to Sarah, it's like, all right, she should have maybe had something a little, I guess, easier on the ears to say, but she's kind of put on the spot in an interview like that. It just happened. Like, I kind of feel bad for her, even though,
I'm sure she knew the question was coming, and that was
yeah,
the prepared answer. It's just, again, it's unfortunate for these people because they are the face of Xbox, and they're gonna have to take the hate. They're just gonna, because you are the face of Xbox. You guys are
yeah,
the heads of that company, so you guys are just gonna
yeah.
have to
She is
take it.
now right, the head of Xbox.
Yeah, and of course we feel worse for all the employees that were less let go than these executives that are making millions. But it's just like, what was Sarah Bond really supposed to do here? It's just that's exactly what someone in that position is gonna say, is just some cliche bullshit answer, because they're not actually gonna answer that question, because they probably get in trouble if they actually said how they actually feel.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
is what it is. Mobile
The
store, yeah, of course I mean, we're seeing Xbox get bigger and bigger into mobile. Maybe you could have kept the studio from last week, whatever it was, Alpha Dog.
Alpha
But
Dog.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Considering they were a mobile studio, but whatever, fuck it. Who cares?
Yeah, I don't know if a mobile store is the right answer, and it's like it sucks to even say this, but like,
So I always pictured Xbox mobile front as, and sorry to interrupt you, but I always pictured Xbox going into mobile front as just being a Game Pass app, right? Like that's
yeah,
kind of
that's
how
not
I
necessarily a
always just
store.
pictured it. Yeah. Okay. You're right. Yeah. Good point.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
I wonder if like they're trying to do that, like have that same store where you go PC, Xbox, mobile,
I
right?
guess I
Have
just
that
figured
same
they'd just
store.
like add Candy Crush and whatever other games King has under them in the mobile branch. I figured they'd just add that into Game Pass, and you'd be able to, it'd be a subscription service through your
Probably
phone,
could.
kind of like how the Apple subscription service works, the games one. Like,
Yeah,
that's kind of how I always pictured it.
Apple Arcade.
But I
I
suppose you
mean,
can also buy games from Apple Store, right? Like you don't have to subscribe to that thing. You can also just buy games there. So maybe it's just a way to do that.
they don't want to mess with the moneymaker, right? Like, they don't
Right.
want to get it off the Apple Store or off like the Google Play Store or any Android store. Like, they wanted to keep it there so it keeps making them money. But I guess this could be another option for mobile. But yeah, I'm not sure about the mobile store. I don't know. I don't see it necessarily being a huge success.
Yeah.
Um, but I guess it's they're at least testing the waters. I'm not really sure where that's going to go.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you. And it's just one of those things I'm not really going to pay attention to anyway. So,
Yeah.
yeah, whatever. All right, cool. Next up then, a little bit of good news here. Microsoft, and specifically under the Activision branch, has established a new internal development studio which is exclusively focused on creating a new narrative-based games and it's supposed to be genre-defining AAA franchise. So this studio is called Elsewhere, and it consists of employees from CD Projekt Red, Naughty Dog, and Ubisoft.
Yeah, it's in Poland, isn't it?
I could click
I
in
think,
here and let you
yeah,
know.
I think they're Polish.
Let's see here.
I think
Headquarter
that's what I
in
saw.
Warsaw, Poland. Yep.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah, so
that's
that's
cool.
cool. I'm a Polak. Um, yeah, I think this is cool. It's a little odd that it's a different branch of the company, but their parent company just let go of some studios, and
Hmm.
then they're like, now we're going to open a new one. That's a little bit of a weird look. I
I
know
think,
that's not the same
yeah.
because one's Bethesda or ZeniMax Bethesda, and then the other's Activision.
I also
Blizzard.
think this is probably a thing that was. I mean, we're gonna talk about one with PlayStation later. I think this is a thing that's been in progress for months, right? They've
Yeah,
been assembling a team there, so it's not it's not. I see everyone pointing that out too, but it's not necessary. It doesn't necerally go hand in hand there. Like this.
No, and it's
This is
two
a
different
thing that
arms.
could have
Yeah.
been being built together for over a year now. You know, since
Mhm.
since before Microsoft even owned Activision, the studio could have been
Could
in
be, yeah,
somewhat development, right? So it's like, okay, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean anything that they just closed one and now popping up a new one right away.
for sure. I think the good thing to take away of this is that maybe now's the time that Activision starts looking at AAA as not just Call of Duty, which
Hopefully,
would be
right?
nice. Because like Activision used to make a lot of fun games. They used to make the Spider-Man games and other stuff. Like they helped publish Sekiro, right? They didn't make it, but they published it. Like they know AAA games, and they've just been Call of Duty for so long. Like it's nice to see this. I don't know. This could be, I don't know, maybe some
It's
cinematic
nice
third
to
person
get
action
something
game.
new out of them, right?
Yeah.
Like it was so exciting when we first started this podcast in 2020-ish. Like Activision was just on a roll then, you know, with just
Oh yeah. Tony
the Tony
Hawk,
Hawk,
Crash
Crash, Spyro,
4,
and all that, and it
the
was just
the,
like
the
just
remastered
really
stuff.
felt
Yeah.
like, oh, they could take off with all these franchises too, and like really double down on them as well on top of Call of Duty, and like spend that Call of Duty money elsewhere to make other games, you know.
Yeah.
And
On the
that just
show, we
never
watched
really
them. We
came
were
to
watching
fruition.
them. We were watching them just like turn their wheels, right?
Yeah.
Through the course of this show, we have. It's
And to be
interesting.
fair, like Activision has always been, maybe not always. I don't know about like before, like pre like 2005. I'm not entirely sure about their history, but like ever since around for the last like 2 decades, they've just been kind of focused on like one major franchise at a time, you
Mm.
know, and then like other like superhero properties and stuff like that. Big money makers is really what they've been focused on, right? Like they went from making Tony Hawk yearly and that being the highest selling thing to Guitar Hero being yearly and that being the
Mm-hmm.
highest selling thing, and then that rolled into Call of Duty and that being the highest selling
We're
thing for
still
now two
there.
decades, right? And yeah, Call of Duty has just never come down for that, so they've just been so heavily focused on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to see Activision branch out and make other things.
Make a new
I
Tony
mean, you
Hawk.
remember the rumor about Infinity Ward making an RPG? Remember this?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah,
that.
yeah. It's like I don't. Maybe that's a real thing, and like hopefully that pops up at some point. Maybe I don't know
Those
if it's
studios are
anywhere like.
huge.
Yeah, I don't know if it's anywhere like near being able to be teased at this Xbox Game Showcase next month.
Probably not.
Probably not. We're probably not there yet. Maybe in a couple more years we could get that. But that'd be so cool, right? To just see these other teams work on something else.
Yeah, those studios are huge. The thing is that they don't want to mess with the Call of Duty machine that much.
Yeah.
So, if anything, you'd get the smaller studios probably out of there before you'd get like, Infinity Ward or Treyarch or Sledgehammer or even Raven, which kind of sucks to say. Like, there's a couple of them, but like, maybe you can get like High Moon out. Maybe you can get, any of those smaller teams, Beanox and stuff like that. Maybe you can get them out of there, but I don't know about
Unfortunately, with a
Infinity
new
Ward.
studio popping up, I think this is a sign that the guys that are on Call of Duty are going to stay on Call of Duty. If not last week already being a sign that the guys that were on Call of Duty are going to stay on Call of Duty, right? And
Mhm.
Xbox doubled down on saying we're going to focus on the bigger franchises here, right?
They
So
got Call of
it
Duty.
sounds very.
So,
It also Toys for Bob being completely let go, and luckily they did sign them for a second party relationship. Also, Toys for Bob teased something yesterday. I don't know if you saw that
I didn't. Were
they
they
changed
teasing?
their website to like the Tiki mask from Crash Bandicoot, but it's purple. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. You know, I don't know what's going on
We're gonna
there.
get Crash 5 before we get another
Spyro
Spyro.
Crash crossover game, maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
What?
Well, the Tiki mask was purple, like Spyro. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Something going on there. I could see something popping up. Keeley's got a very good relationship with them, so maybe that
Oh
pops
yeah,
up at
he
Summer
does.
Game
Yeah.
Fest or the Xbox Showcase. Obviously,
They're going
I
to be at
think we're
Summer
getting the
Games Fest.
reveal of the Toys for Bob game by the end of the summer. I'll just say that.
Yeah, whether it's Xbox or Summer Game. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
whether it's
so
just a
too.
random thing, Summer Game Fest or Xbox Showcase, I
Did
think
you
we're
see
getting it.
Keeley put that picture out with all the publishers and stuff that are going
Oh,
to be
they're
there?
gonna be there. Yeah.
Both PlayStation and Xbox are going to be there. There's some other bigger names. I didn't see Nintendo, which
Rumor
makes sense,
that
but
I forget where I saw this rumor. I think Maddie was talking about it that the Doom game is gonna actually be revealed at Summer Game Fest, which would be an odd choice, but I'm
I mean
down for it.
they are there.
Yeah,
Xbox's logo was there, so
yeah. And maybe the showcase is so packed that they were like, oh yeah,
I
reveal the
mean, they have
Doom
so many
game.
studios now.
Exactly. It's like maybe the showcase is just so packed and they want to keep it tight that they're like, yeah, go ahead, put the Doom game at Summer Games Fest, and that'll be a big pop there.
I think they like Keeley. Keeley seems to like them.
Yeah.
So they do stuff at Game Awards too. So yeah, I can see that.
Okay, cool. So yeah, new studio elsewhere. Making a AAA single player game. Awesome. Next up, then we'll get into the PlayStation news. We'll start off with this one. Based on a LinkedIn profile and a couple of tweets, it appears PlayStation has created a new team consisting of ex-Deviation developers after the studio shut down earlier this year. I believe they shut down officially in March. So here we are, Daniel. The guy that was the lead at Treyarch is now apparently leading this studio. His name is like Jason Bloom or something like that.
Is this the guy that was there at the reveal? Was it that guy?
I think so. I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe, and he was like the executive producer on all the Black Ops games, and
Okay.
whatever Treyarch made before that, whatever Call of Duties they made before that. I think they made like 1, 2, and 3, right?
No. The
No.
first two were Infinity Ward. I think their first one was 3.
3. Okay.
I think it was
Okay.
3 and then World at War, I think is when they kind of came in.
So yeah, longtime Treyarch developer. He is now leading this apparent secret studio. So here we are, Daniel. What do you think about this?
I guess that's good for potentially less people losing their jobs. I don't know if that entire team. I doubt the entire team is coming, but at least I guess most of them, hopefully. So it's always nice to have more people having jobs, and yeah, I guess this is gonna be probably a shooter. I would assume PlayStation needs more shooters, so yeah, that's why they wanted them in the first place, right? Like they were gonna be a shooter team. Yeah, it's pretty much what I expect from them.
Yeah, I'm so curious what happened over at Deviation, to the point where like it seems like there might have been a little bit of a rift in the development team there, where it's like and then PlayStation was like, "Hey, we really like the idea that like, half you guys have, but then the other half, it isn't working out with this project necessarily, but we really like the idea that this, or they must really like what this guy has, whatever this Jason Bloom guy has, whatever his grand idea is for this game."
Clearly they do, right?
yeah. I mean, they're making a whole studio around him now, right? So yeah, we'll see what this ends up being. I gotta imagine it's in the vein of a first-person shooter and whatever Deviation was going for over there. But
I don't know, give them like one of their other first-person shooter properties. I know they probably want to do a new IP. I'd like to keep getting new IP, but they have other shooter IPs that are just sitting there. I doubt they're gonna really do that much with them. But like, you could soft reboot like SOCOM or something like that. Make it a first-person game. You could soft reboot Killzone or Resistance. I know people probably want the old studios that worked on them to work on those IPs again, but in order to keep an IP alive, like they're going to need to do something with it. So I don't know. There's options there, but it will probably be a new IP, if I were to guess.
Yeah, I have a bit of a different perspective on PlayStation bringing back old IP. I say you just let the past die. Personally,
that's very fair. I'm with you though.
Make new things. Yeah, I just think we hold on to franchises way too much in the video game industry. Like look at the movie industry. They don't hold on to things that bad. And PlayStation is actually one of the few
remakes.
few that let their things die. Like I don't think you're ever getting another Jack Daxter game. I don't think you're ever getting another Sly game. Stuff like that. It's just like we have so many franchises that are into like the teens and the over 5 games and stuff like that. It's just like let things die.
PS3 era die.
Yeah.
How about let Last of Us die as well?
Yeah, I mean,
good.
Make good. 3, make 3, end the story.
Make 3 and then end it.
End the story, and then I'm good with never seeing another Last of Us game again. Preferably, you would have never made a 2, and you could have just had a one-off with The Last of Us. But whatever, we already crossed that line now. Yeah, of course, 2 is one of my favorite games, but it's just like
we need to let it go.
Let things die. Let the past die, as the great Kylo Ren says.
Let the past die. I told you that with Spider-Man when Spider-Man, like we were like talking about playing 2 as it was coming out. I'm like, I love this game. I think that there need to be a 3rd, maybe, and then we need to never see another Spider-Man game ever.
I'm totally with you.
I would say.
Yeah. I'm totally with you that it should wrap up with 3.
You're kind of convincing me to not really do old IP, but there are some like the PS3 era. I agree. Like, yeah, we don't really need some of those games. They can kind of go. But then there are IP like like maybe Killzone could die, but I think like a SOCOM that's been gone for so long that
I'm
like
not saying
I think
these
that could
things
be a
couldn't
thing.
work, but like new things are just more exciting, you know?
That's
Like
true.
I'd rather have a spiritual successor to SOCOM or a spiritual
Mm,
successor to Killzone than another Killzone or another SOCOM,
sure,
personally, you know?
that's fair.
Yeah. And I'm totally with you on Spider-Man. Like I hope it's just this Venom game and then Spider-Man 3 and
Wolverine.
that's not, if they can get that out by 2028, that sounds like a very nice, cuz that's a decade of Spider-Man games, right? Those are
Hmm.
5 games then if you include Miles and the Venom game.
Sure, yeah.
That sounds like a good saga, and then wrap it up with 3, and then be done, and then be done, and then
I'm with you.
let someone else have the Spider-Man IP, because of course there's gonna be another Spider-Man game at some point after
Of
that.
course.
That's of course, you know,
But let
Marvel's
somebody
gonna
else
want
have a new
that.
creative idea, you
Exactly,
know?
like just let someone else have that. Then you know that would be how I would go about that personally. And it seems like they'll move on to X-Men and stuff after that, anyway. So it's like, yeah, I'm totally with you on Spider-Man. Let it die after that. And I think we will look back on that, you know, in the 2030s as like a really good saga if they do leave it there.
Yeah. So I think same with Uncharted. Like, I kind of would like to see where they're going to go with the new stuff, but it's like maybe do one more game and then kind of have that fifth one, and then it be, spoilers. Let's take a second. Spoilers. Let it be the fifth game be the daughter, and
Yeah.
then let's sunset it after that. Like, you know what I mean?
I,
Like, I think that's a cool
yeah,
idea.
I just think if you're
Uh,
gonna bring it back with the daughter now, they're gonna keep going with them, you know.
yeah.
And,
They're going
and
to
I
do a new
think
trilogy with the daughter.
exactly, yeah, and I think we'll all kind of want that after that. I think if you're gonna do
Potentially.
Uncharted again, then you're gonna have to make more after that because we're all gonna want another one with the daughter,
That's
or
fair.
just don't bring Uncharted
Or
back,
don't.
you know, because it already left off in a perfect spot.
I'm good with it. Don't. 4 was a perfect
I'm good
ending.
with it. Don't too. Like, of course, I'd be excited
But
if a
then they
new
did
Uncharted
Lost
game gets in that.
Legacy.
Very
you
true.
know?
Yeah, very true. Very true.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right, let's get into this other PlayStation news because they got a lot here.
Sure.
Next up, then PlayStation sales numbers for its fiscal year have come out.
Mm,
PS5s
yeah.
have sold 20.8 million PS5s were sold, and while that number is the most consoles Sony has sold of a console in a single year in the last 2 decades, it still
Not
falls.
enough.
It still falls a bit short of Sony's revised expectations of 21 million, which then they revised before that. It was 25 million, then they revised it to 21 million. So they fell just short of that as well. We could stop there, or I could keep going into the other things.
We can keep going. I'm
Keep
just
going.
saying,
Okay, let's
it's
just
never enough. It's never enough.
we'll hop back to that because I want to talk
Yeah.
about that too. And then also with the other big notes that came out in that news report were that Helldivers 2 has sold 12 million copies, making it the fastest selling PlayStation published game in a 12-week period. And then lastly, they plan on selling 18 million PS5s in the next fiscal year and reiterated that Concord is still coming out later this year. Daniel, a lot to get in there. So 20.8 million consoles sold in the last fiscal year. Still just shy of their revised expectations, but the most consoles they have sold in a single year since 2003, which was PS2's peak, right? So makes sense.
Yeah, I guess that tells me a lot of their games sell, like we talk about this all the time, sell so fast, probably within the first 2 to 3 weeks. Like that's where all their sales go, and then kind of just trickle, and they just keep consistent, right?
It really
So
does seem
this
like
is
Spider-Man 2 dropped off after like a month,
yeah,
right?
it hit that 5 mil, I think, was it, or 5 or 6 or whatever that was, and then it really slowed, right? Which was like I think it was very quickly that first 5 or 6 mil. Yeah, this is just like probably hit a real big peak, and then kind of kept way more higher consistent for that 12-week period. It's also cheaper, which could help with its sales. So in terms of the money it's made, I'd be curious, did it make more than
Wait,
Spider-Man
what's
2?
cheaper?
Helldivers 2.
Oh, okay. Helldivers 2, that's what you're talking about. Gotcha.
It being cheaper with their sales being so high. Did it make more money than Spider-Man 2?
Probably not if you add all that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, at that point. This is also a game with a longer tail, right? Like, I think this game in particular, Helldivers 2, wasn't a sold 5 million copies in its first week type of thing. Yeah, I think that game just steadily kept going up with the popularity of it. Like, that Helldivers 2, I'm kind of amazed by. It's just like, I hear guys talking about it at work and stuff like that. Yeah. It's just like, you never going into this year was I like, oh, Helldivers 2 is going to be this big thing. None of us were talking about that. PlayStation themselves were promoting Foam Stars more than they were promoting Helldivers 2. That's a real fucking thing, Like, think how wild that is now. And now it's far and away the highest selling game of the year. And it's just kind of kind of nuts with Helldivers 2, man. I just
It's the PC. It's the
oh, for
PC
sure. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
effect. Like I think we see like Square talking about putting their things everywhere now, right? Like
We're gonna get into that.
PlayStation is they have to put their games at least. I know they don't want to like put them on, rival consoles. They don't want to put their stuff on Switch or Xbox. I understand that. I think maybe they'll break with that too eventually, and the games will just kind of be everywhere. But PC for sure. Like I know it's going to be live servicey stuff like Helldivers 2, but with the amount of success that we're looking at, like it's got to be everything.
I really think they need to test their next big single player game on PC day one just to
Hmm.
see how this pans out with a single player.
Wolverine or whatever, right?
Yeah. Like, how does how does this play out with a single player game, right? Because Helldivers 2 is a PC game, right? Like,
Hmm.
you could see why PC gamers would love that. That's the type of game PC gamers would really be into. How does it work when a big AAA single player game goes over there day one?
Yeah, because we talked about, was that last week, that like the PC audience is so broad. They don't necessarily only like that typical PlayStation third person action game, right?
I
Like
mean, they
they'll
don't.
play those
You
games for
know,
sure,
it's
but
like you look
that
at
is
the
not
highest
as
selling
huge
games on
there.
PC. It is not single player
Yeah.
games. It just isn't. You know, that's not what
You
the
get the
PC audience really
rare
likes. You get the
Baldur's
rare
Gate
Elden
or
Ring and
Elden
stuff.
Ring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but again, those games co-op. I don't know about Baldur's Gate, but Elden Ring co-op, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Baldur's Gate has the co-op feature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
But
yeah. So it's like they just, it's PC kids. They love playing together.
they love playing together. You're right. It's true.
It is very true. Yeah, the console sales I want to talk about actually
Oh yeah, for sure.
20.8 million, just short of their expectations. I gotta just say, you guys, again, we keep saying this. You have
What were your
too
expectations, dude?
high expectations. How
How is
how
that
do
not
you
enough?
sell the most consoles you've sold in a single year in 2 decades, and you still miss your what you thought you were gonna hit?
What was your target?
Why are you guys?
25?
Why is your
How?
target so high? Like, why? You only had Spider-Man, and I guess that's like the biggest seller. That might be the biggest seller, or the biggest. Yeah, it might be the biggest seller of PS5's generation. It
Maybe
really,
God of War?
yeah, maybe Ragnarok ends up beating that
Yeah.
out. But like, I'll be curious when we get to 2028. What is the highest selling PS5 game? I could very well see it being Spider-Man 2 because that's a game that's gonna sell over
That's a good
time.
question.
When people go out and buy
Honestly,
PS5.
it might be Ragnarok.
It might be
I'm
Ragnarok.
gonna
You're
guess.
right. Yeah. Ragnarok or Spider-Man 2. So but it's just
Yeah.
like Spider-Man 2, obviously, such a huge name.
course.
It's gonna be one of the highest sellers. And it's like, but you guys still only had that last year. And I get it. At this point in the console generation, we're still at a point where it's not even necessarily about the games. It's just people wanting to go out and get a new console still, and it becomes more about what games you have later on as we keep going, as we get into 2025, 2026. It's going to be more about the games that are going to be selling the console than it is just people wanting to upgrade their console, right? But still, it's just you guys both these companies. We're gonna talk about Square later. It's just you guys have wild expectations for what these things are gonna do, and it's just this constant growth in the industry cannot keep happening. It is not gonna go the way you guys think.
Mm-mm. And we talk about like, yeah, your consoles are selling well, and like you're selling good amount of games, and you're profitable, but like their expectations for everything it seemed to be out of whack for PlayStation. Like
It's a lot of COVID too, right? Because that set their expectations so wildly high because of
yeah,
the huge spike video games had, and it just doesn't seem like a lot of people stuck around after the huge spike during COVID, right?
there has been growth still, even with the leaving, but like it's just not enough.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like it had that sticking power. It doesn't seem like, as soon as people were
No,
able to go outside again, it doesn't really seem like a lot of those people became permanent gamers.
they still probably have their Switch.
It's
I would
interesting.
assume.
I'll bring up UFC because why not? I got the flag there, and I always bring up UFC. But
Where? Oh, is that
UFC,
it? Oh, yeah.
that's a UFC flag. Yeah.
Oh, I always forgot. Yeah, because it's like that's their old logo and
It's
stuff.
sick. It's sick. I love it. But UFC has through COVID, they had a huge spike as well in viewership and numbers and stuff like that. But it's stuck. It's stuck with people. Like they just had UFC just had their highest selling gate for Fight Night, and it was a horrible card. And they just had the highest gate that they've ever had in a
does that
shitty
mean?
Fight Night. It was just
What's a gate mean?
it was the most amount of money they made off tickets sold for a Fight Night.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's just like, and they've been selling out their crowds. Yeah, I'm just comparing it to the video game in the
Yeah.
sense that MMA fans stuck around after that, and it just doesn't seem like video game fans, that people that became fans of video games throughout COVID, stuck around with that.
The only people that have is Nintendo,
Yeah,
and it's not
yeah.
their consoles. The console sales have slowed, but the people buying so much of their software still. It's because everyone in COVID bought a Switch. They're the cheaper option. They had Animal Crossing and Mario Kart and some other games, and it's like people are still seem to be playing
I don't
there
even know
more
how
than
much that
anywhere
is
else.
stuck around though. Like Nintendo was doing extremely well before COVID with their
That's
games
true.
too. You
Yeah.
know, it's just I mean, Nintendo just makes such kid-friendly games too that it's so easy to buy. Switches is the cheapest console too. It's just they really hit the market at the right time with that. You know, it's I mean, I mean, we constantly talk about Nintendo. We talked about Nintendo last week too, but yeah, it's just Nintendo really has that market cornered
Yeah.
with kids and stuff like that. But yeah, what else was in here then? So we talked about Helldivers 2 numbers, 12 million, 12-week period. Lastly, they plan on selling 18 million PS5s in the next fiscal year. So we'll see if they hit that target. I don't, you know what? So when does that go to? That goes to April 2025. So I
Yeah.
don't curious to see if they get anything out. We know nothing big this year from a first party side is coming out. We're going to talk about one next in our next news story that it could potentially be coming out.
I
And
was gonna say the fact they're lowering more tells me they're not gonna have that much.
yeah, yeah.
They're gonna rely a lot on like Helldivers and like third party stuff, Assassin's Creed, Star Wars. They're gonna rely on those big third party games. And the
Yeah.
fact that they're lowering it even more than they already lowered it just tells me no.
Well, let's throw this news story in here because I think it kind of
Sure.
goes with console sales. So console sales are reportedly down this year, according to GamingIndustry.biz, specifically in the UK. This is coming from Christopher Bring. Let's read his tweet here. The console market continues to have a horrible year. Sales of game machines are down 30% in the UK this year. Xbox Series consoles sales are down just under 25%. PS5 sales are down just over 25%, and Switch sales are down 38%. This is specifically in the UK, but it kind of reflects the whole world here. I'm sure US numbers are also a little bit down.
Yeah.
So it doesn't seem like this year is really pushing console gaming
It's
particularly all
interesting.
that much.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Maybe it's just because their interest has kind of stayed, but like at least for now, that the Xbox is its drop was less than everyone else's, even if by a little bit for PlayStation. It's just interesting that they're the one that didn't drop as much, and I don't know if that's just interest is lower than the other two, anyways. I don't know.
Yeah, it is. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, console sales just being down in particular this year doesn't really surprise me, you know? This year, I think we're going to look back on this year as like just an in-between year of 2023 and 2025. I think those would be two huge
Yeah, we'll
years
have
looking
great
back
games
on
here,
them.
but yeah,
Yeah, I think there's a lot of great games for hardcore gamers like me and you coming out left and right still, but there's not necessarily that big. Like I don't think, I Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, we're gonna get into that later. That's certainly not pushing any consoles. I don't think Hellblade 2 is gonna really necessarily push any consoles. Nintendo so far doesn't have anything this year that's gonna push consoles unless they come out Metro Prime 4, and we'll
I
see
don't
how
even
well
think
that
that would
does.
push.
Yeah, how much will that push consoles? Also,
I'm gonna.
everyone owns a Switch, like we were talking about last week. So how many people really are there in the market still that are looking for a Switch still? So yeah, it just seems like this is a down year for the console market just in general. But I do think next year will pick back up. Certainly GTA 6 gonna sell huge. I could see a world where GTA 6 in that quarter sells between PlayStation and Xbox like 10 million consoles. You know, that does I don't think that's an
Yeah, it's not
outlandish
launching PC,
prediction.
right? At least that we know of right now.
Yeah, that we know of right now, it's not launching on PC.
Okay.
So you're gonna have to go out and buy a console, one of these consoles, to play GTA 6. And yeah, I don't 10 million consoles in a quarter with GTA 6. I don't think that's impossible between Xbox and PlayStation, like combining
Yeah.
those numbers. That doesn't sound impossible to me, and that's a huge spike up for a quarter, right?
I wonder if the Switch 2 will be power. I don't even think it'll be a Switch 2. I keep saying it's not. I think it's going to be just a Pro.
According
But
to
I wonder if
leakers, they're debating between Switch 2 and new Switch.
it's going to be the new. It's going to be new Pro or like what was the other one?
New sounds horrible to me.
It does, but
Yeah.
that's Nintendo. They don't like a two. They don't like to ever put a two. It's gonna
Yeah.
be new Pro, Super, something like that.
Yeah.
But I wonder if that's gonna be powerful enough. It's gonna be successful enough that Rockstar would look at it, right, to put their
Mhm.
game on there. I wonder if it'd be like a decent power jump where Rockstar doesn't have to like really limit six. I know six is gonna be pretty expansive and stuff, a lot going on, but like I wouldn't be surprised if they really try to put their game, especially if they want this game to be as big as it's going to be.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's a chance in hell they get GTA 6 running on the next Switch. Maybe, but I seriously doubt it. I mean, they didn't even do
Yeah.
5 on this Switch, right? Which I always thought that was like a guarantee. Like, hey, you want to sell fucking 10 million more copies of GTA 5, you put it on Switch, right? I'm still surprised they never did that. So I don't think they
Yeah.
really care necessarily about
I mean,
putting it on there.
they did the trilogy, right?
Yeah.
They did the
Yeah, I
trilogy,
mean
so
they kind of got their game plan down, right? Do console and then a couple years later you put it out on PC,
yeah.
sells millions of copies
Maybe
that
just
way.
wait a little bit, not at launch, but do a little bit and put it on the newer version of the Switch.
Yeah. And then back to 2025, me thinking 2025 will be a successful year. Also, Switch 2 coming out. And
Mhm.
that's obviously going to be huge, or
Yeah.
whatever they're calling it. That's obviously
I'm
going to be
getting
huge.
it.
I think with the power of that and GTA 6, the console market's going to boost up a lot next year.
Yeah, just those 2 things alone.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And then not to mention all the other games that seem to be lining up for 2025 release. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting rumors that Bound Wonderworld 2 is coming out. Yuji Naka out of prison, probation. Hey,
That would be big.
yeah, I would. Talk about GTA 6. Get out of here.
And
We
then the
got
last
Bound
part of that
Wonderworld
news
2.
story was Concord coming out later this year. So we will see. We will see.
Mhm.
Hopefully the PlayStation Showcase. It's supposed to be happening sometime later this month. So
Well, I mean, we're halfway through the month.
yeah,
Grubb
but
said this month.
they don't announce it until like 2 days before
You
typically.
think we're gonna
So
get an announcement this week, and it'll be next week?
no, I think you'll get an announcement on.
Next week for the following week?
Yeah, no, I think you'll get an announcement next week, and it'll happen next week. Like I think you'll get an
Do you
announcement.
think it's just happening next week? Okay.
I don't know if it's happening next week or the week after, but I think either next Monday we'll get an announcement, or the Monday after that we'll get an announcement, and it'll be on that Thursday.
Is that when they like to do? Is it Thursday or Wednesday?
I think it's usually been Thursdays.
Okay.
I don't know. I just remember it's always getting fucked with the news.
Yeah. Has it always been PlayStation that does that to
Yeah,
us?
I think so. So
PlayStation.
I'm pretty sure
Do it on
Xbox
Tuesday.
has typically been Wednesday.
How about do it on Tuesday? That'd be good.
That'd be good.
What
Do it on a Saturday, please.
do it on the weekend.
Yeah, do it on the weekend. Jesus, everyone's
Or Friday
home.
night.
I fucking hate it when I'm at work and I'm just like, come on, guys. Like, I want to watch this. Next up, then, some other big news in PlayStation. PlayStation will replace former boss Jim Ryan with 2 new CEOs. Herman Holst will be the CEO of Studios, and Hideki Nishino? I don't know how to pronounce his name, Danny. You sure fucking do. He will be the CEO of Platforms, both reporting to Chairman Hiroki Totoki. Which is funny because I just got Hiroki Totoki's name down, and now I gotta get this guy's name down. Come on, guys. Nishino. Okay.
Yeah. Always remember in Japanese, you want to like split it to like 2 to 3 characters. So like that's how they pronounce. So it's N-I-S-I-H-I and then N-O.
Sir,
So
I am not catering to our Japanese audience. I refuse to give in.
Oof.
Refuse to get in.
Yeah, it's interesting. They're splitting one job into 2.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I mean, that's a lot to juggle,
That's true. Yeah.
We always hear how stressed out Jim Ryan was. Like that could have been part of the reason.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe you're right. Maybe that's like the reason why they're like, oh, maybe we should cut back and like what they do, and like we like Herman. He's been great for us for a while now, and then I don't know where this other guy came from, but
I'm assuming he was working at Sony in some
executive
way.
somewhere.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's cool to have European as a head too, and then also a Japanese guy.
They've been focusing on Europe a lot.
Yeah,
especially over like Jim Ryan's era.
I mean, how many European CEOs have they had now? 3. I guess Sean Layden American?
I think he's American.
Okay.
Well, was Jack Trenton, was he American too?
I
think they had American for 2 in a row.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm thinking they had more UK guys than
I think it's just been one. I think it's just been them. But the entire era of Jim Ryan, their focus is like, we are losing in Japan. Switch is dominating in Japan. We need to focus our laser on Europe.
Yeah,
and that seems to be what they do.
Yeah, so we'll have to see in the months and years to come what exactly they do here, what other changes they do here. I like Herman Holtz being there too. It's good that he's moving up more. I mean, he was very deep and high up there in Gorilla, right?
He was like the CEO or whatever.
He was deep in that Gorilla, but
oh my god, we need to move on. I can't. Oh my god,
get that up in there.
I'm just visualizing Ace Ventura 2. Instead of him coming out of the rhino or whatever, it's him coming out of a gorilla.
Herman Holtz looking out like, what's going on, guys?
Oh my god!
I was making Horizon in here. So yeah, I like seeing him there. You know, obviously, I think he's someone that will just have a care for studios, you know, and stuff like that, just because he worked that one for so long.
Yeah, for sure.
And then this other guy, we'll see what he does with platforms and stuff like that. Again, not too much to say on this because it's just, you know, we'll
It's
have to
so
see what they
new.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right then. Next up, then we're getting a lot of rumors about a Lego Horizon game. This started kind of popping off
Not a
yesterday.
lot of info yet, but
No,
because
not
there's
a ton of
just
info yet.
yeah.
So Lego and PlayStation are working on a new game called Lego Horizon Adventures. Yeah, like I said, we started getting rumors about this a couple days ago, and it seemed like people didn't really know if this was like a Lego set of Horizon or if this was
Yeah,
going to be
that's
an
what I was
actual game.
assuming.
Me too. And it seems like, according to Jeff Grubb and Insider Gaming, it is an actual game, and we could be seeing it at the PlayStation Showcase. Daniel, you don't like this, huh?
All right, listen, Herman. I know you're from Gorilla. You didn't, and you didn't make the games. You just were a CEO there, right? But Horizon's great. Me and you love Horizon. We don't need this much Horizon. Horizon's not that good. It's not good enough that we need another. We there. The rumor that what do we have like 5 Horizon games being made right now? We don't need
Yeah,
that. I want one more. Give me the third game, and then again we talk about move on, move on. I don't need a Lego Horizon game.
I'm with you. I don't need it, but you want to make something a yearly franchise. There's so many other yearly franchises out there that like we just don't talk about. Like, I mean, your precious Like a Dragon is yearly, Persona's yearly.
Almost.
I mean, all these game Call of Duty's yearly. All these things are yearly, right? Why can't Horizon also be yearly?
I just don't. I don't know. I don't.
And also, they're all different
Even
veins. Like, it was a VR game, you know, last year. This
yeah,
year, it doesn't seem like we're getting anything unless this comes out. And then this will obviously be a Lego kids game, Horizon.
yeah.
It's different veins, right? Like,
But
you
I'll
don't
say,
necessarily need to play all those.
as much as I am a Like a Dragon fan, I don't want it every year. I would like. I'd be cool with them taking do it every 2 years or whatever. Like I'm
Sure.
cool with that. I'm cool. I would prefer like a doing maybe every other year doing like well I guess that's still just getting a game every year but like taking a break and doing like an in between game like where they were doing with Judgment and stuff like I'd like that give them time to blow up the game and make it bigger or whatever but I don't necessarily want that every year. And Horizon, like as much as I love Horizon, I just don't want that
I'm
franchise just to
fine
be
with this
flooded with
if
stuff.
it is different. How different is it from an actual Horizon game? Is this
Yeah,
just
is
an
it just
open world Lego game that's Horizon? Is this just
yeah?
a Horizon Forbidden West Lego skin? You know, because that I don't need. Like the remake, I don't need.
Oh,
Don't need a
please don't do
remake of Horizon
that.
Zero Dawn. You know, don't need that because that's just the same thing again without any years apart. Really, I mean that
They've
just
done it
came
with
out
The
in
Last of Us.
2017. Yeah, and it's like don't need that. But if there are going to be different, if this is a different type of game, if this is more of like a kid-friendly 3D platformer Horizon game, great. I'm down with that. Grow the franchise, have game out there for kids. That's cool with me. If they put out the VR game last year, great. That's a very different experience from Horizon Forbidden West and Horizon Zero Dawn. As long as they are different enough, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with you making your franchise bigger, but I don't want the same thing over and over again.
For sure. Yeah. I just
I don't know if I'd
yeah,
play this, by the way. I just did not vibe with Lego Star Wars last year or whenever that was, the Skywalker saga. I just,
2 years ago.
yeah, whenever the fuck that
I
came
think so.
out, I just, I wanted to like that game. I wanted to love it, but I just did
Yeah, I
not like.
liked it more than you did, but
Yeah. I don't know, something about the Lego games. Just, I didn't find the fun in it. You know, very janky, slow platforming, and
I just found the
it's
fun
more
in
of a
replaying.
collectathon.
Yeah, I just
It's
found the fun
fun
of
and it's
like
cute, but that wears off for me very quickly.
I was just, but it wasn't like that long because like I bounced between all 9 games, and it didn't like take that long. So I was like, it was cute to see like one of my favorite IPs ever, just like in a Lego thing and replay the movies. That was
Yeah,
kind of like that
yeah.
was all I was looking for that.
That being said, I do think it's smart of PlayStation to team up with Lego and make a
Lego's
kid
super
friendly type of
popular.
thing, man. You know, we were just talking about Nintendo, how they got the kids market pretty much cornered right now, right? It's
Nintendo, you should.
Lego is one of the few things that can break in there, you know. And that has, right? Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga sold huge. Obviously, I don't expect
Mhm.
this to sell anywhere near those numbers because of the power of Star Wars
Yeah,
and also that being on multiple platforms and stuff. But I do think it's very smart of these companies to team up with Lego there.
yeah. I will warn PlayStation: don't corner kids. Don't do that. We don't be
That's
doing
what
that.
Jim Ryan's doing now.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, Jim Ryan and Drake out there.
Oh Jesus. Oh Lord.
All right, next up then, let's get going. We got the Square Enix news. Square Enix has laid out a new business strategy. The company plans on pursuing an aggressive multi-platform strategy and focusing on quality over quantity going forward. We also found out that FF6, Final Fantasy 16, Rebirth, and Foam Stars all fell below sales expectations, and the company has canceled multiple unannounced projects. Daniel, Square Enix, changing gears here, not working out so well.
Yeah, I think this just comes to two different things. Number one, games are, they're taking too long and they're too expensive to make. I guess maybe three things. And then number two, you got to put it on multi-platform. You're trying to get a lot of sales and it's only on one platform. That's just not enough. And then what was my third one? I had a third one, but I think I forgot it.
You said two initially.
I did say two, but I had a third one that popped in my head. Then I let it go.
Okay.
And then I let it go.
Gone down.
But that's at least the big things. Is like you can't over budget these games and expect them to sell a lot when they're not on that many platforms. That's just not going to work that way. Like, why you can't have a high expectations? Like, you're hurting yourself in that way.
My thing is, with that in particular, with the whole PlayStation exclusivity thing for these big Final Fantasy games, is that shouldn't the deal have been for you guys that PlayStation is giving you enough money to cover it for not being on the other platforms? You know? And obviously that's a fuck ton of money. That's a lot of money, but why else are you signing the deal? You know?
Yeah.
Why else? I understand these games aren't going to run on Switch, so you were never going to get it there in the first place. But PlayStation should be covering, the deal should be PlayStation is covering for PC and Xbox, that it not being on those platforms, at least at launch, right? So I just don't understand why you guys would sign that deal if you guys weren't making enough money for that. And maybe they are, and they're not just saying that. Or maybe their expectations are so wild that they assumed it would sell even more on PlayStation than it already did.
Which it doesn't make any sense.
No, it really doesn't make any sense. The problem with Square, right? You look at Capcom, who's doing so well. Capcom has so many different franchises in different lanes. They have Resident Evil, which is nothing like Street Fighter, which is nothing like Monster Hunter, which is nothing like Dragon's Dogma, which was outsold Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, right? And is now the third highest selling game of the year, at least on the latest Circana numbers. And it's just like, those four things I just named can be major franchises, and they're all nothing alike each other. They all have different fan bases and different audiences. Square Enix, in particular, has the same audience for all their games. Kingdom Hearts is so much like Final Fantasy, is so much like Dragon Quest. You know, and all the three of those things have the same.
Star Ocean.
In Star Ocean, those four things are the same fucking fan base. They are the same audience. You know, you guys don't have that diverse of a. It's a lot like PlayStation. You know, they have the same problem. They just had the AAA single player market. You know, and that was their whole portfolio. And Square Enix has that problem. Is like they do not have different enough genres and different enough big franchises in different genres.
Yeah, I agree for sure. I think I guess this makes sense. They're trying to get leaner. They just had some layoffs and stuff too, and
and that worries me because they seem to be it seems like they're gonna double down on the franchises that are working, but they're just all so similar. You know, it's like you guys almost need new IPs. You need some type of survival horror thing. You need some type of good multiplayer studios go. Thing, you know, and it's just like.
They let Crystal Eidos go. They let IO go. Yeah. Right? Like they let three huge studios that do different things for them go.
Yeah.
Like they kind of doing that to themselves. But in one of their quotes, weren't they looking at like maybe redoing more Western stuff too now? Like even after all this?
Yeah, I didn't see something like that. Yeah,
I don't know if it was in this, but it might have been a different quote somewhere. But like maybe they'd be trying to rebuild their relationships and stuff.
I just think Square needs to focus on some new IPs going, you know? I love all their games. I truly do. They're some of my favorite games, but it's just you guys need other things going to expand your market. Like, again, I'll point out Capcom. Like, I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. I don't play the other three I just named. I don't play either of those. I want to try the new Monster Hunter and all, but, like, I don't play the other
You're not
three,
a fighting game guy.
Yeah, I'm not that big a fighting game. I did buy it, but, like, Played it for
Yeah.
2 minutes. Great 2 minutes on Street Fighter. Loved it. uh, but you know, they're just all over the place with their genres, and they're all very successful. And Square kind of needs to look at that and get some other IPs going, but it doesn't sound like that's necessarily the direction they're going in. And then
Yeah.
obviously going multi-platform, like I couldn't agree with that more. You guys need to put your stuff everywhere. Hurry up, get Final Fantasy 16 out on PC and Xbox. Get the Rebirth and Remake games out on Xbox and PC. You guys, hopefully Switch 2 can run those things, you know? If that's possible at all. Like that Square Enix has a huge market on Nintendo, you know? Them and Nintendo have been very close for decades now, right? So they have a huge market over there as well. So maybe try to focus more on Nintendo side as well. Maybe lower the graphical fidelity of some of your games so they can be running
Connor.
on.
We said do that a long time ago, but oh no, can't do that.
Yeah. But then you see people freak out on Rebirth, right? Like, oh look, I can't fucking see Tifa's dimples, you know?
Jesus, these people.
How
about we just make our games run great, and then we can think about the graphics later? How about that? How about a game is playable instead of like all visual? You know what I mean?
And then I just want to point out, Foam Star's selling below sales expectations. Yeah, no fucking shit. Yeah, we know. All right, let's run through these last news stories. Firaxis veterans Jake Solomon and Will Miller have formed a new studio called Midsummer. His first game will be an attempt to revitalize the life sim genre, and it's in development now.
Awesome. Love Jake Solomon. Can't wait to see what he does.
Yeah.
XCOM's great.
Would you play this? Sim
I mean,
thing? Yeah.
If it comes to consoles, as long as there's like a console release, I'm not 100% sure what he even means by life sim. Like I was even asking Andrew on our Discord, like, what really is a life sim? Is he talking about The Sims, or is there something very particular? Like, what genre? What is a life sim?
Yeah, because even like I played 2 Point Campus, that could kind of be considered a life sim too, that type of thing, you know. And it's not necessarily like The Sims, although I guess that game is kind of like The Sims in a lot of ways too. Yeah, I don't know exactly what he'll do there.
Because he has been kind of PC focused with XCOM and stuff. So
yeah.
But I mean, they have had console releases, so yeah, I'm curious. Like, Solomon's a great game designer, so I'm just can't wait to see what he cooks up.
Yeah, right there with you. Looking forward to seeing whatever this ends up being.
Yeah, go play Marvel's Midnight Suns. Go play that game.
Yeah. Did
awesome
you?
Game. Yeah, I never ended up beating it, but I put like a good amount of time into it.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, great game.
Next up, then Ubisoft has canceled its upcoming free-to-play shooter Tom Clancy's The Division Heartland. Daniel, this one's been rumored for a long time.
We haven't heard about this game in forever.
Yeah, it seems like it was very deep into development as well, so a bit odd of Ubisoft to cancel it, but like we said, man, it seems like all of these companies are backing out of the live service thing unless they know it's a surefire thing.
Yeah, that's why I'm curious about X-Defiant, like, and how that does for them.
Yeah, I think that one's already that comes out next week, right? So
it's been so close.
That one's so close to coming out that you guys got to just put it out now, right?
For sure. See if we can make some money.
Then the last thing, the Summer Game Fest is confirmed for June 7th, Friday, June 7th. A lot of different studios there. Xbox will be there, PlayStation will be there, Sega.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that.
Yeah. So
some big ones. Yeah, Bandai's gonna be there.
Capcom's there. Maybe maybe we get that RE reveal.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, there's a lot of like weird studios in there. Like I saw Discord's thing there because they tap games a little bit. I saw Netflix. I don't know. Has it been long enough that we would see what's his name's game?
The guy from Halo.
Yeah, the Halo guy.
Can't
Joe.
Remember his name now
either. Oh my god, I can't believe I don't remember.
Joe Mama.
Is Joe Mama's game coming out?
I don't know. Was that last year or the year before?
It was 2022, I think.
All these years blend together. Yeah, maybe. Maybe they got like a teaser trailer for it or something like that. Maybe Night School got something up there. I don't know if not Netflix. What other studios do they own now? They brought up quite a bit.
Yeah, the Oxenfree. Then they have the new one with Joe.
Yeah.
They own a couple, I think. But a lot of their stuff has been a lot. They've been focusing a lot on their like putting games onto Netflix and having like their mobile thing.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So Summer Game Fest, yeah, things are gonna be heating up pretty soon here with all the showcases. Should be getting the PlayStation one soon. Then we'll get this Xbox, Ubisoft. So it's not E3 time. It should be pretty fun. Should be pretty.
The key 3.
Yeah, Keith Reilly.
Keith Reilly.
Gonna be great. We'll now get into what we've been playing. Daniel, what have you been playing?
I've actually beat 2 games this week.
Me
One of them
too.
is going to be a surprise that you could be a left field curveball. But I did beat Stellar Blade.
Cool. Let's both talk about this because I also beat
Yeah,
Stellar Blade.
yeah. I think I put. I'm gonna guess how many hours. It must have been like 20 something. I don't remember seeing the last number.
Yeah, I can't remember the number. I don't know.
20 to
PlayStation.
25.
Do you go off PlayStation's thing? Because you
I
shouldn't.
try to, and
Yeah,
I hate it.
don't go
I
off.
hate
Don't go
it.
off.
It's
PlayStation's
so
numbers are
stupid.
so wrong.
Yeah, I hate that.
It's
They need to get rid of that.
It's so wrong. I don't care. I like that it's there personally. I just wish it was accurate.
Well,
Yeah.
no, you're true. If
Yeah.
it was accurate, it'd be nice.
Yeah, I
but
just wish
it's
it was that.
not.
PlayStation, please, for the love of God, when I pause a game, I'm not playing it. don't show the number. Okay, I did not put 60 hours in an Alan Wake remastered. That did not happen.
Wow, how many times did you beat that game? Like 5 times.
Yeah, for that did not happen. That game's 10 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the last like 5 hours of that game are probably the best hours of the game.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
I would say so. I think cinematically it just gets, grander and grander.
Yeah,
It gets a little boss rushy, which like
for
you either
sure.
like that or you don't like that, right? Like that is some of the best parts of the game. So like I think the boss fights were great. So I think like they kind of do a lot of back to back to back to back boss fights right at the end.
I will fully admit something. I'm ashamed to say I switched to story mode for the last 2 bosses.
I don't care.
I know you don't care, but I care.
What if I told you I played story mode the whole time?
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I
Okay.
didn't care. Yeah. It's perfectly fine.
Yeah, I beat the bird guy, right? I know I was texting you about the bird guy in Discord.
Mhm.
And I was like, "Fuck
Did
this
my
guy."
advice help at all?
Yeah, it did. It did a little
Okay.
bit, and so
Yeah,
I
the
beat
Taki
that guy.
mode
I
really
beat that guy at normal, and then I got to the next boss, and I was like, "I'm not doing this again."
Yeah, which
Switched it
one was
down
the
to
boss
story.
right after that?
I gotta say, story mode's still pretty hard. Like,
Yeah,
still,
I know,
still
I know.
decently hard.
That's why
Like, I thought that was gonna be a very basic
Mm-mm.
story thing. No, not at all. Still
Mm-mm.
decently difficult.
Yeah, the game itself was just pretty challenging.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd be curious, like spoiler. I would like to know what you did at the end. And, like,
So I
did you get the
looked at
good
your
ending and all that?
trophies. I
You looked
stalked
at
you.
mine.
I stalked you because I wanted to see what ending you got. We got the same ending.
Okay. Did
Yeah.
you get the perfect ending?
No. I think you got to do something on New Game Plus to get the perfect ending. I believe.
Well, I know. So I saw that if you have to like max out Lily's number, and that's how you get the perfect ending.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I don't remember what I got hers to.
So I want. Can we just spoil it? Yeah, we're gonna spoil it, people.
So what happened with Lily for you?
She died.
Did she live? Okay, she died for you. So then,
Yeah.
I guess you didn't get her number to 100%.
No.
So yeah, so I didn't get her.
I would have got
thought it
a
was
trophy
close.
for it, and I think so. And I was comparing trophies with you, so we got the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she died for both of us.
Okay. Yeah.
I think she can live.
She can live.
Yeah.
And that's like.
So
the
you
perfect
also
ending.
took Adam's offer, huh?
Yeah, because it made the most sense to me.
Me too. That's what I thought. I was like, yeah, why wouldn't I? It sounds like everyone lives here. Everyone gets what they want out of this. So I was like, yeah, why wouldn't we?
Especially with like, it wasn't even just Adam. Like the whole game, they're like, the constant reveal is like, oh, maybe the Mother Sphere sucks.
Yeah.
Maybe the Mother Sphere suck. Oh, the Mother Sphere did this. Oh.
Yeah.
The Mother Sphere sucks, and then you get to Adam, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I've been trying. I would like to."
It seemed like the Mother
everyone.
Sphere was the reason for humans' extinction.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of. Like by the end of it, and I was just like, oh, okay, well, yeah, fuck that.
the Mother Sphere created the Natiba and all that because of all the stuff, and like it's like, oh well.
I gotta say, I did not like the story of this game. I did not vibe with it that much.
Fine.
I just didn't. I was confused a lot, personally. I was just like,
Adam clears a lot of it up.
Yeah.
In his talk, but
yeah. Like there's elements of it that seemed really cool. Like I like the whole humans turning into the Natibas thing.
I like
that twist is
that
cool.
overarching world building of the Mother Sphere and like Earth and how Earth went extinct and that final war and all that. I like that.
Yeah.
But like what's happening, like what you're doing is not quite as memorable.
Yeah.
Personally,
I think they should have simplified it a bit more. Just like everything. Sure. And it's funny because I read an interview with, I think it was the director of the game, and he said we wanted to just make a simple story to focus on the combat, and I was like, guys did not make a simple story
Yeah.
at all here. It's actually
It's not.
very confusing. I feel like you could have simplified
There's a
it way
lot going
more.
on.
Yeah, there was a lot going on. But whatever. I like the whole she became like a fucking angel thing at the end of it. It was
Super
cool.
cool. It's like the
Yeah.
reverse
So
of the Bible, right?
yeah, and then I like that you're like fighting the hot bitches in space at the end too. That was a very crisis core ending almost, you
It was a
know?
very crisis. I
Yeah,
mean,
it kind of felt like she
she's
didn't
not gonna
die.
die,
Yeah,
but
but like
I know what you mean.
but that's a really cool setup for a sequel is now you're fighting the hot bitches in space, right? It's
Well, you're
like, all
gonna go
right.
to the colony, right?
Yeah, and you're gonna go fight them. Maybe
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
I
the.
think you're gonna
I
take
guess
the fight.
maybe we have to see what the perfect ending was necessarily, because I
It's
know
the
the
same.
other ending. The other
I
ending,
think
the
it's this.
trophy was returned to the colony. So I'm assuming you're cool with them at the end. In the
No,
other ending, no,
no, we have like mostly of the I think the only other thing, like I think I looked it up.
does Lily live?
Lily lives and then like brings the core to Zion, saves Zion. So I assume that's the perfect ending or that's going to be the ending for the sequel is like Zion is saved. You fend off the attack or whatever, and then you go and take the fight to the colony.
Okay,
I assume that's going to be the other one is like it's the you kill Adam or whatever,
gotcha.
and then you're for the colony, and that can't be the true ending, I don't think. So or
Okay.
the good ending.
Yeah, it
But
was a
yeah,
good game. I had a good time, man. It's I
yeah.
really liked the combat. The combat was really fun, really
Mm-hmm.
addictive. I really enjoyed my time with that. Story, not so much. Open world elements, some of them were cool. I actually kind of like the platforming by the end of the game. I'm like,
It's
I kind of
still
fuck with the
not
plat.
as sticky as I want.
Not
It needs
great,
work.
but something to
Yeah,
improve upon for a sequel.
yeah.
Like I hope they keep those platforming elements for the sequel and just improve
Sure,
upon them.
improve
You
it.
know? Yeah. It's like don't get rid of that for a sequel. I wouldn't say, but
Yeah,
because I do like them, but just improve upon it. But I really like the game, man. Great first
music
attempt for a console game, for a big AAA console game from a new
for
studio, right?
sure. Yeah, for sure. We need more of this kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, the music is my favorite part, probably.
yeah. Music was
Um,
awesome.
yeah, yeah, a really, really great game. It will it make my top 10? Maybe by the end of the year, maybe no, because there's going to be hopefully a lot of games coming out. But
Yeah. I would
it
just say
might
it
be
depends
right
how this
there.
year actually shakes out and what
Yeah,
I'm into, when I'm not. Yeah, but like,
yeah.
yeah,
What I end up playing.
right now it's in there.
Yeah, yeah. Right now it is.
Yeah.
The only other game that I really put a lot of time and really I guess not that much time and I beat it is Suicide Squad Kills the Justice
Oh,
League.
you beat it.
I played
Wow.
and beat
Interesting.
that game within just a few days. Because it really like if you want to keep doing a lot of stuff, there's more to do. But I did play and beat that game. Um, and I guess I would say right off the top, it is not perfect. It has a lot of problems, and I would change a lot of it. But boy, is that game better than a lot of the reviews try to make it out to be. I think the game's pretty fun. It's not perfect, even with the combat. Like I wish the characters would feel a little different. But more of their feeling different is their mobility than anything. Um, like their traversal stuff, like Deadshot gets a jetpack or whatever, and um, King Shark jumps a lot. Like that makes it feel different. But they are just kind of just shooting stuff. I wish they would have went more into like what these characters are. Make King Shark more like a Hulk or something, and then maybe Harley uses a bat and makes more melee stuff, and then Deadshot's like shooting, and Boomerang could be whatever. I wish they would have leaned more into that, not a shooter. And I have a lot of problems with like mission structure feeling very mobile gamey, very live servicey. A lot of the currency stuff I didn't like. A lot of the switching equipment feeling like Destiny I don't like. Um, but the performances are great, especially with all the main cast. Amanda Waller is Deborah Wilson, who's always great. Do you know Deborah Wilson?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's always great. Who else? The Justice League themselves, they're good. I wanted a little bit more of them and like maybe flush that out a bit more and like how you trying to kill them and stuff. Like this definitely feels like they jumped the gun a lot when I wish that we could have got more Justice League in a different game first, and then now we're going to kill them. That would have felt more impactful. But I liked the Justice League, especially Wonder Woman. I think Wonder Woman was the best uh, of all those characters, I think Wonder Woman was
Did
easily the
she kind
best.
of get like the most screen time out of the Justice League?
It's pretty balanced, to be
Pretty
fair.
balanced. Okay.
Um, they do a pretty good job of like, you're getting a lot of like the Flash right now, a lot of Green Lantern or whatever. Like, but do you want me to spoil anything?
Oh, you could spoil the whole thing. I already saw most of it.
Okay, Wonder Woman is never against you. Like,
Interesting.
she is not one that you end up killing.
Okay,
She
cool.
ends up having an awesome fight scene with Superman. Superman kills her. So
Interesting. Okay.
she's technically just always on the good side. Not She kind of just tosses the Suicide Squad, aside because they're just people, they're villains, they're criminals. She's trying to save the world, and she ends up dying and stuff. Um, but like she might be my favorite part of the game, is seeing a lot of Wonder Woman stuff, and like I wish we could have got more of that.
Mm.
Maybe in like less of a live servicey live servicey mobile gamey type of game this is, blow it out more into like a campaign and even more than what this is. Um, but yeah, I like this game. I think it has a nugget of really good. You know, I know we just talked about last week of it not, you know, affecting Warner Brothers. But I don't know. They were kind of stuck, I guess, with the game they were making. They kind of had to put it out.
How were the boss fights? Like that's kind of the part that like might appeal to me most is like actually fighting Superman, actually fighting Batman. Are those like cool? Do those feel like big cinematic events type of thing?
Mm, not really.
Mm.
Like, even fighting like Brainiac at the end, like it still kind of just feels like they kind of have a similar setup, and like you kind of just you have to like get an item to like help you fight them because they're superheroes. So it's like there's a kind of a setup for each one. Like you kind of have to get this item to fight them. Batman's is probably the most unique. I don't want to, unless you really want me to spoil it, I will. Batman's is probably the most unique of them. But even then, it's fun. If they would have been more unique stuff like that, then yeah. Like I think they could have done more with Flash and Green Lantern with like their powers and like how that works. Like, I think they were pretty limited in what they were able to do. Like the Flash could have been kind of crazy with how fast he is and stuff, but it didn't really end up being that crazy. And I think the same with Green Lantern. Like his power being able to create anything. Like, think of the creativity you could have with that.
Mhm.
Like it should have been able to do more. Um, I mean, I guess I'll just say this: with Batman's, he uses Scarecrow's toxin, so you're like seeing a lot of crazy stuff.
Mm.
So they were decently creative with that. They could have been more as well, but that fight at least was, I think, the most unique.
I guess my last question then is how egregious are the live service elements, and do you plan on like going forward? Like, are you going to jump into the Joker thing now too, or
Oh,
do you just
absolutely
have
not.
you have no interest in that?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Nope. No interest. It it's not like in your face, like exploding. Um, but it's there.
Yeah.
There's a battle pass. Like when you're on the front screen, it's um you see the Joker thing and stuff, like it's right there. Um
Do you feel like that really held this game back from being like as great as like an Arkham game or
yeah,
something like
it should
that?
have just
Yeah.
been a single player game.
Yeah.
And there's two big negatives. One is separate, but one kind of pertains to this though. It's always online.
Mm.
And we knew about that. I hate it. I only had one time it kind of messed me up. I had to reboot the game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but now it's just because it was like trying to connect to the servers, and then I lost whatever. I was like halfway through this mission. It wasn't like a story mission. It was just kind of like a mission or whatever. I need to like level up, and that it kind of affected me. But I had to redo that mission. But other than that, it didn't affect too much. But I don't need this game to be always online. And then the second biggest negative, the UI sucks. We knew that in that screenshot and like some of that pre-release footage. That the UI is not good. There's too much happening. It's just too much going on. Like I'll say, even playing like as much Helldivers as I have, Helldivers has a lot going on in the UI, but they're way more clean about it.
Mm.
Like the game just has a lot going on in the UI, even in menus and stuff. Like there's a lot they could be working with.
Cool.
But I think the game's worth experiencing. I just hope that this game doesn't shut Rocksteady down. You know.
Yeah, hopefully not, especially with all the WB mergers and stuff going on. Hopefully they don't get lost in the shuffle there.
Yeah, I think they are, but yeah, it's just I don't know.
Cool. I also have a surprise game. You probably already know what I'm talking about. I have beaten Little Kitty Big City. Fucking yeah,
Oh,
this game was on Game Pass, and I heard it was like 3 hours
yeah.
long, so I
Oh,
ended up
it's that
downloading it.
short? Maybe I should
Yeah,
check
it's
it
that
out.
short. Oh, dude, check it out because very fun. I actually very much enjoyed my time with this game. So it's I guess
But I was
the
hearing real quick, I was hearing it compared to a short hike. Is it
fair.
like a short hike?
I
Have
didn't
you
play
played a
Short
short hike?
Hike, no.
Okay.
So maybe it is, but I have no idea.
Okay, go
Did
ahead.
not play that. So, anyways, the premise of the game is your little cat, your little black cat. He falls out of his home, his high up apartment. Some bird
Mhm.
comes and knocks him down, and he falls on a
Oh,
bunch of
oh no.
umbrellas and shit. Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
He's
And
safe.
so
Good.
yeah, he's safe. He's safe. He did not die, even though he falls from like a fucking
The
12
Empire State
stories at
Building.
least. I'm like, Jesus Christ, he'd be dead. He'd be fucking
Yeah.
dead. All right, all
Dead
9
cat.
of those lives gone. So basically the premise is you got to get back home, right? You're trying to get back home, but to do that, you got to climb back up the building, and you can climb on like different like they got like moss and shit growing on the sides, and there's some very light, very cute platforming elements in this game as well.
Mhm.
And so the premise is he needs enough energy to climb back up his home, and to do that you got to eat fish, right? Of course, you got to eat
Mm.
all these fish. You're pretty much just going around the city and doing a bunch of different things for different animals that you can talk to and stuff like that. And you're basically just trying to get enough fish to eat so you get enough stamina so you can climb up. And the stamina wheel is there. It's kind of like Zelda stamina wheel, but it's a paw,
Okay.
Daniel. It's a paw, and the paw meter goes down.
Real quick, while you go, that
Yeah.
sounds exactly like a short hike.
Does it? Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
So
So a
so
short
maybe it
hike,
is a
you're
lot
trying to
like a
collect
short
these
hike.
feathers
Yeah.
that are all over the world,
Yeah.
and you need them to give you that gives you stamina to get up the mountain higher.
Mm.
And you're basically need to make a call to your parents to
Yeah.
get you, but you have to get to the top of the mountain. So
Exactly like that then. Exactly like
okay.
that then. So yeah, and it's pretty much you're pretty much just going around doing some light puzzles and light platforming elements, and it's very cute, man. It's there's like one mission where this cat asks you to knock all these jars over in his owner's shop, right? So you jump up on all the little counters and you go and you knock the jars over.
Okay.
And the little thing goes around. Or
Love
like
it.
there was this mission where this goose was looking for her ducklings, and you had to go around the
Of course.
city and find her ducklings, and they were all doing these cute little things. And so yeah, pretty much everything is either a short little puzzle that you'll solve in like a very simple puzzle. It's not a complex game at all, but it's just a very simple puzzle or simple platforming elements. And the platforming feels decent enough. It's fun enough. It's better than Stray, I'll tell you that. This is a better cat game than Stray. I'll
Oh,
stand on that. I'll
it seems
stand on
like it.
business on that. It's 100%
It's cuter
better
than
than
Stray.
Stray. Definitely cuter than Stray. You know what's the cutest part about it is the facial animations of the cat and all the
Oh
other
yeah,
animals.
yeah.
They nailed that because they're so good.
Awesome.
This game had a photo mode that I love too. I'm like, oh yeah, give me a good photo
I'm
mode.
gonna
Love it.
I'm gonna
Let's
download this
get
game right
going.
now.
Yeah, dude, it was very fun. It's a very charming, cute little game. Very quick. It only took me 3 hours. There's other stuff I could have done. There's a bit more collectibles and stuff out there that I could have done as well. But
So I'm assuming there's more ways than you need, more ways to level up that stamina than you actually need to do to get to the
not
top, right?
necessarily. The one thing that I kind of thought was weird about it is there's a lot more things to do that don't involve you getting fish to add the stamina. You could
Hmm.
go and you could find the fish pretty quickly, honestly, and then just climb up the thing. But there's like a lot of other things around the world. There's these little
Okay.
trinkets that you can get, and you can give them to a bird, and he'll give you these cute little hats. And there's a lot more of those, a lot more things that reward you with the trinkets than there are the fish. I almost would have done have more
Yeah.
fish to add that stamina, give you more of a reason to go out and do more things in the world. But whatever, they decided what they decided on. And yeah, man, I had a cute little time with this game. It was fun. I enjoyed. I played it for like 3 days of day when I was coming home from work, and I was just like, oh, I can't wait to go home and be a cat for a minute.
Hmm. So
And
what you did this in 2 nights?
yeah,
Kind of split it
I
between
think
a
I
couple
started on
nights.
Monday, so 3 nights,
Okay.
about 3 nights. I put maybe an hour in each night, something like that, hour
Okay.
and a half. So maybe I played it for like around 4 hours ish. And yeah,
Hmm.
I recommend it if you're looking for something very quick. On Game Pass as well. So cute little game. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, I might check this game out.
Yeah.
I saw that on Game Pass. I'm like, oh, this looks cute. I remember seeing this. Did we see the Nintendo Direct? I think is where we saw it.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, cute little game. Recommend it. Check it out. Ooh. I'm gonna be starting Lorelei and the Laser Eyes tonight.
Oh,
looking forward to that. Let's go.
Where are you playing that?
Got me some points on fantasy. Very excited.
I haven't checked fantasy.
87 on OpenCritic right now. So yeah, I'm like, yeah.
You've been trying to get that game for like 2 years now.
2 years, yeah. Fucking forever. It paid off, damn it.
It's been delayed a lot.
It's only on Switch and Steam, so I'm getting it on Switch.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So very much looking forward to that new puzzle game. And then we got Hellblade next Tuesday. Let's go. Can't wait.
Yeah, for some reason I thought it was this week, but
yeah. I don't know if I'm gonna. I might wait for the weekend with Hellblade and just play it all on that weekend. You know? Yeah, I don't. I kind of like to.
Do we know when reviews are going
that up? Way? They do not go up until launch day, actually, which is a bit odd, but whatever. It's a shorter game. I don't know.
It just came out to reviewers later.
Yeah, I don't know. It's different publishers handle that differently. It doesn't really matter. Ever since Red Dead 2, the reviews drop like 2 hours before the game comes out. I don't really trust that anymore. So
one of the greatest games of all time.
Yeah, so it's whatever. It doesn't really matter. So yeah, very much looking forward to that. Hopefully I can get through Lorelei on the Laser Eyes this weekend and then hop into that. Have a good time. Have a good time. That's going to do it for the Nerd Gods podcast, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. Remember to follow us over at youtube.com/nerdgods. You can also find us on all audio platforms. Daniel, anything else you'd like to say?
I'm just a little cat, actually. Yeah. You didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Bye, everyone. Oh, my cat hated that game, too. He was so mad at all the meows.
Who's in my house?
Starts scratching out my door. He's like, "You gotta get me out of here. I can't be in this room. I can't fire."